The countdown has begun, ladies and gentlemen. Shakura's Plateau is where we shall go. It shall be exciting. And MaNa currently up 1 in this best series. And here we go. We are now on the map. It's an exciting thing. And here we go. Yes, Fnatic's NightEnD. He is in the red trunks and he is playing Protoss to the southwest of this particular map. Currently trailing 1 game against this man. It's Mouse Sports MaNa. He is in the blue trunks and he is playing Protoss to the southeast.
PvP. On this map, I like to play, I like to do a bit of a white route, to be honest, which is, in close by air, 4-gate warp prism is very good, and it puts a lot of pressure on your opponent to defend, but another build I like a lot is, like the 3-stalker rush into a pretty fast expansion. It's really good here because you can force a lot of pressure onto your opponent not knowing what the hell is going on.
Yeah.
And then you can get away with that. That's a pretty cool build too, but we'll see what both of these players do. Pretty safe build as well. Blink Robotics is pretty cool. Blink Observer, that is. You can do a lot of harassment if your opponent tries to go for an expansion on this map. So
yep.
Let's have a look at the gateway timing. So it looks like MaNa's a little bit faster to begin with. As you can see, that probe is stretching out there just a little bit ahead.
Yep. Not by a huge amount, but that's the thing about the first few minutes of a PvP. Unless there's some crazy shenanigans going on, it's usually pretty much identical. There's not a huge amount to talk about.
Well, 12-gate versus 13-gate, first of all. So
yep.
MaNa taking the backseat in this game, and just going to have a later research warp gate upgrade being completed. Meanwhile, yep. NightEnd's going to be pretty fast on that. So NightEnd has the possibility to do something crazy if he wanted to, or tech up really fast. Meanwhile, MaNa's just going to be like, alright, whatever, it's fine. Fine.
Care. Yeah.
Cat face.
I'm just chilling. Just chilling. NightEnd's gonna pass the probe right there, and he will no doubt, I would think, have an idea of where his opponent is at this point, based on the angle that probe came in, and he's gonna go scout, of course, the closest position first, which will be this one.
There's a lot of mind games in PvP, like
yeah,
more so
definitely.
than anything else in the world. Like anything, mind games, because like you play against each other, you're like, alright, well my opponent prefers this, so I'm gonna go this because that's the probability he's gonna do this, and so on. So
what if he uses that knowledge to his advantage? He knows that I know that he is this, so I'm gonna do this.
There's a lot of mind games going on. So
well, I think it's definitely a case in all mirror matchups, but PvP by far the most, certainly.
Yeah. Well, it looks like NightEnd's going to throw down a second gateway, so he could be going for that 3-stalker build. And then on the other hand, we do have MaNa, who has not taken the second gas yet, is building a Zealot. So from 13 gateway, and let's have a look at his chrono boost. He's also used 3 chrono boosts too, so he doesn't have the option of 4-gate at a decent time. So literally, if he tries to do it, it's just going to be so slow, it doesn't make sense. So second gas has gone down for MaNa. Probably see some Blink Observer play pretty safe and standard. Meanwhile, nothing from NightEnd, not even a second gateway. The gas is now taken a little bit later on. Now, having seen that the second gas has gone down for MaNa now, and we'll have to see what he decides to tech to. Stargate is questionable here.
Yes, it kind of is, and I think it was just waiting for that probe to get the hell out of the base before he decides. But he's on 400 now, so let's see. That's a 2-gate, 3-gate.
Is he going to throw a robo down too? He's going to have the money for it in a second.
Yeah,
okay,
no, it's going to be a 4th gate.
So cancels as well.
Yeah, it's a 4-gate. It's as simple as that. He cancels that, and as he cut probes, he's cut probes on 20. This is classic almost all-in 4-gate play right here from NightEnd. Very strong.
And it looks like we're actually going to see MaNa wall off from the front. So he's actually in a great position to hold this. He's gone 3 gateways first. If he wants to tech up because he's got double gases, he's going to have sentries as well. He's actually looking around for the pylon, and he actually might see it by luck, actually. He doesn't
so
continue.
Close.
We would have seen that, actually.
Yeah,
he does have a pylon down for himself as well at the back. But basically right now, if he wants to survive this game, he either needs to add on a 4th gateway or simply throw down, a robotics facility so he can start to get the Immortal out, because he's going to be able to hold for a certain time, but he won't be able to hold forever with 3 gateways versus 4. It's, simply another...
Is he going to get it? I think he is, because that was the probe coming down from there. He's found it.
Alright, but at the same time, that Stalker could actually get killed if it stays there. The 2 Stalkers going to come from behind, are going to target it down, and the probe misses it, and there's the 4-gate coming in.
Yep.
He needs to throw down, he's throwing down the robotics facility, but it's very, very late. He's got a lot of gas. Basically, now he knows 4-gate's coming, he has to warp sentries in, he has to continue to just force field, force field, force field, force field.
Got to be done, and yeah, very nicely done there.
But now he has to continue to force field to not give vision range to any units. Meanwhile, as soon as the robotics facility comes in, he has to chrono boost like a madman to get an Immortal out, otherwise he's going to die. And good position with the sentries too, like perfect for a force field.
Yeah, it's looking nice for him. NightEnD started to build probes again. I think he's realised that this is...
not going to work.
The funny thing is that when that Stalker first found it, he immediately started building a probe, then cancelled it when he realised he could kill the Stalker.
Yeah.
I was like, but no, NightEnd's pulling back. I think he's not even going to try. He probably respects MaNa too much for that.
And the Zealot pokes up, sees no expansion, is actually going to go hide again and go back later once the focus of NightEnD is not in his base, it's into MaNa. So with one Immortal, it's like, alright, wait a minute, what? Where's the attack? It's not coming. Okay, you're not full getting me. So you can actually go for an Observer now after this Immortal and be perfectly fine. Can even expand too. It's absolutely fine to do so. He is actually throwing down a Twilight Council, so we want to go for Blink himself very, very shortly here, but definitely needs knobs out to actually know what's going on in the map. Likewise, we do have an Observer now for NightEnD, and NightEnd's going to expand behind this. So looks like we're going to be going into 2 base, unless we do have Blink, which is coming, and he just decides to be like, alright, Blink and Immortal, or even better, a Warp Prism, so he can go ahead and do a bunch of damage into the main line while doing a lot of damage to the natural, so with Blink and so on. So this is actually going to be quite a deadly attack coming out from MaNa.
Yeah, it's pretty powerful, and it looks quite scary. So we'll see what he's able to do with that. It's good positioning. We've seen White Ra execute this to great effect. NightEnD is going to spot it, however. Well, I don't know. It depends where he puts the Observer, but mostly, yeah, he's definitely going to spot it now. So he's going to know what's coming. The question is, how quick is this pickup going to be?
Where's that? Well, he's moving the Observer south because he's expecting an Observer from MaNa to be there. So he's not going to go in the traditional way and might not actually see this. But it looks like we're going to wait for a double Immortal drop. It can be in the main base as well, but it can more importantly be with the army. You can use the Immortal to micro very, very well, and he's waiting for that now. So he's going to basically go with double Immortal drops with the army, without the army, in the main base or not, depends on how he wants to play it, but it definitely is going to be going there very, very shortly. With Blink as well, this is going to be quite deadly.
Ooh, NightEnd's moving in that direction now. Well,
he's going to check the natural for an expansion.
He's missed the Warp Prism completely. He has no idea that it's there, and that second Immortal's now going to come out. It's not going to get seen. That's crucial right here, and MaNa can now actually go for a Warp Prism drop into the main. NightEnD has no idea that it's coming. It's a double Immortal. That's very, very unpleasant.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's going to even drop it with the main. He just might use it to micro with, so... Like, he's going to just whoop in some units here and he's going to go. So, with Blink as well, NightEnD does not have enough. By far does not have enough. He's going to Blink in the main now. Watch this little cool trick. And this is going to be hard.
But actually, never mind, he does have Blink. Sorry, NightEnD doesn't have Blink.
Look at that.
That's even worse. So, Blink versus no Blink, that's incredibly unpleasant. 2 Immortals brought along as well. Which
Whoa, crazy Blink.
Yeah, no kidding. Insanity Blink going on right there. And MaNa picks up that Immortal, gets it out of the way, blinks out, and is still able to see up the cliff face. But that pylon's going to go down, and it just goes down just before that. But now, of course, you can start to menace the natural as well.
Pylon block, though, because of that. So, actually, I had to build a couple more pylons, and here comes the front, and this is where it starts to get rough, because basically 2 Immortals versus 2 Immortals very, very shortly, but with a Warp Prism, man.
Warp Prism, and yeah, it's MaNa's Blink control as well is exceptional. NightEnd's is good too, but still.
The Nexus tanking a lot of damage here, and he's just going to, tanking a lot of damage, he's going to get killed straight away. Nice force field on the ramp, and good play from MaNa here, look at that.
Almost dead. Now it's dead. Now NightEnD is also actually very heavily supply blocked because the Nexus was providing supply as well. And a very aggressive Blink by NightEnD. He wants to take it out. He's able to snipe off an Immortal. Nicely done there. But he did lose the Nexus there. And in the meantime, MaNa is actually expanding behind that as well.
Yeah, really nice. And the Warp Prism gets away, luckily. And we'll live to fight another day, and now we're just going to go and retreat home for MaNa. He's just going to focus on getting this up. May actually want to take the gases relatively fast on that natural as it gets up, so he can go into Colossus pretty soon. Meanwhile, doesn't want to just give away map control, so he's going to hold the middle of the map. I don't even think he's had an Observer at all game, so there's his first one coming out, and he's going to use that for the classic Obs versus Obs fight. And when I say Obs, I mean Observer versus Observers.
You're using all that crazy jargon right there.
You need to get rid of the Observers, man. It's very important. They're going to spot each other now, and I'm sure MaNa's going to turn around and try to Blink, and NightEnd's actually running, so...
And it doesn't match.
He can Blink up there in a second, so...
yeah, he can. I'm surprised that he wasn't able to catch it, but there it is. That is the Observer down. That's a lot of gas that just evaporated into thin air, as gas has a tendency of doing. NightEnD now holding on to this natural with a fairly small force, but of course the Blinkstalker harassment is a possibility. This will be Blinkstalker v Blinkstalker, and he's got the Observer ready. already there in order to get up.
And the thing is, when you have an observer advantage, you can actually weigh up fights a lot better than your opponent, of course. Because you can be like, alright, well, he's got enough Stalkers there, I can't go up there, and now MaNa retreats. Meanwhile, he's actually not going to go for Colossus. He adds on Zealot Charge. He will still want to take the gases soon, of course. Gas is very, very important within this matchup, but that's an interesting decision that he goes Zealot Charge. MaNa's usually a kind of Robotics Bay kind of player. Meanwhile, NightEnd's definitely a Robotics Bay player, so he's going to go for Colossus immediately, and will also want the gases on the natural. Meanwhile, nice maneuver, and this is the advantage you get when you snipe the ops. You actually have map control now. You can poke around if you see a weakness, or in a simulator you can pick off, or units on the front you can pick off. Can very easily be done.
Yes, indeed. And will he decide to engage here? Looks like he wants to go for it against two Immortals. That's not necessarily advisable, but it's just a little bit of harassment, just poking in there, picking off the Zealot, and then blinking out without too much of a problem. And now we turn into, it's just back into a macro game now between these two, and obviously we've got MaNa, I think, with a very slight advantage at the moment. And
basically, the Observer's on its way, but basically right now, so it's going to be Zealot Archon versus Colossus. I always prefer Colossus personally, especially on this map, because it's a very filtered area, and depending on if you are allowed to get the Archons at the front, if they're not the front, then force fields can do a lot of damage, of course, to really cut the Zealots out, sorry. But if he fights in a clumped up area, Zealot and Archon is not going to be that effective versus Colossus.
No.
If they fight in an open area, then all means to MaNa for trying to do that. But we'll have to see how that does go down. Meanwhile, the fourth gas has been taken now for MaNa. Not yet for NightEnD. Does need to grab that pretty soon here, and Colossus is on the way.
Yep, here come the Templar for MaNa, and it's an intriguing little matchup here. It's nice to actually see compositions that aren't equal and a little bit asymmetrical between these two. MaNa's just going to try and hold on for as much as he can, just to try and get his probe count up before that, and because he's had that Nexus up for that much longer and he's been able to chrono boost, he has now got a significant lead, and then we'll be able to continue to warp in the number of units that he wants. He's going to go up to 6 gateways there as well, and obviously his gateway count has to be high in that regard, but I suppose it comes down to when MaNa decides to hit, because the Colossus count right now is not that high. Obviously, Extended Thermalantis is not
he's not looking to play late game because he hasn't got a forge, so he's just going to go for it, basically. But like I said, on this kind of choke area, it's not that good of a position to attack with. Meanwhile, NightEnd's invested in a forge. He's going to get for +1 attack pretty straight away. Well, as soon as it finishes, you want to invest in that and want to chrono boost it out straight away as well. He actually doesn't have that much chrono boost saved up this game around. But here comes his attack, and Army Supply is heavily favored right now. Well, not heavily favored, but favored for MaNa. But the position definitely is not.
No, it's not. The Wall Prism's still there as well. I have to wonder what is going to happen with that.
No Thermal Lance yet either.
Yep, not yet. I mean, it's good that he was able to attack right now, so let's see how much damage he can really do with it. The Archon is not at the front. He can't actually contribute to the fight in any real respect. The front Archon has been taking a massive blink right there by MaNa. And the Colossus goes down only just there, but MaNa's actually taking significant losses here and is now pushed back as well. Not able to deal with those Colossi, and that looks like it's going to end really badly for
Thermal Lance
MaNa.
is now done as well. +1 attack was about a minute away left, but that's going to be there for when he goes for a counter attack for sure. And look at that, smashes through, man. So much money. The probe count is not in his favor, but that doesn't matter when you have an advantage like this. 2 Colossus advantage, the third one on the way. He's in a bad position right now. MaNa's been saving up that army for a long time. It took him a long time to build that. Now he doesn't have it. He's got nothing to kill the Colossus anymore. +1 attack is almost done now. It's 50 seconds away. This is looking bad, and now we can basically see the map control and advantage being in NightEnd's hands. He can pull a pylon now into the front of the natural area for MaNa, and can very easily just go and kill him, because there's nothing now that MaNa can do. In this matchup, when you lose an advantage early on, it's very hard to crawl back.
Definitely, and I don't know, that composition wasn't so good, obviously. It's kind of weird as well that he hasn't done anything with a Warp Prism to this point. What I was expecting there was him not to actually just go for a straight up attack and fake an attack at the front, fake an engagement, and then warp Zealots into the back, and which is, what he's tried to do there, but it's been completely cleaned up here. If he'd done that in the process and maybe sniped the Robotics Bay or something like that, that would have made sense, but he didn't. NightEnd's actually going to take a third base, a rarely seen sight in PvP. And you'll notice that MaNa's army is it's getting back on its feet, but it is significantly behind in terms of supply.
Yeah, the thing is, if like NightEnD tries to attack, if you look at the area that he tries to attack into below the ramp, it's humongously open. It's so open that he could get caught off guard by Zealot charge and Archons. But where the third base is, look at the area to fight in. Around that area, around the Xel'Naga Tower, it's little pathways, which is once again very similar to the engagement we saw in his natural. So the decision making from MaNa to try this strategy, to try it, and then even go for it, didn't work out so well for him. So a little bit of a slip up from him, you know, the future world champion in my opinion. But I mean, he's got to stop this third base from going up, but I don't think he can. He's fallen too far behind. Upgrades, Colossus count, everything.
Yeah, NightEnd's not going to have any of that, quite frankly. And MaNa is in a pickle, no doubt about it. NightEnd has the supply advantage. NightEnd, of course, has the army supply advantage. There's 5 Colossus on the field. He's even working on +2 as well. He's got the upgrade advantage. It's going to take some fairly miraculous micromanagement and engagements, I feel, and MaNa is deliberately pulling back. He knows he needs to engage in the best possible position to have any chance of getting back into this.
Yeah, he doesn't want to play late. He can't play late. He has to go now, and in the middle of the map, that's probably the best position he can ask for right now. And obviously, NightEnd's not going to allow that. So,
well, here comes the blink, and will he be able to stop it?
At the back.
Yeah, oh, that's not good. NightEnd has Colossus there, and there's no real way for MaNa to pick them off unless he can kill them with these Blink Stalkers, and the numbers aren't high enough for that to happen. NightEnd's certainly not going to allow it. The Archons do live, of course, but still, that's another engagement lost for MaNa. He's now dipped below 100 supply. NightEnd keeps 3 Colossus alive and will have 4 in the next few seconds.
And the Warp Prism, again, you know, wasn't used in that fight into the main base again. I was following that and not again. So, once again, you know, MaNa's tried again and didn't work again. We'll probably just see one last ditch attack from MaNa. Can he do it? Can he not? But the Colossus count, he did lose 2 Colossus, but they'll get him replaced rather easy. As he takes a third base now, can take the gases. He can actually throw down a second robotics facility and just ramp up the production even harder. And the worst thing right now for MaNa is +2. Zealot being warped in onto the natural, 2 Zealots, but there is a single Zealot with +1 attack going to beat down this one. And they're queuing up to die. Oh, nice little trick there.
Yeah, he pulled it back and then put it into the Warp Prism, which was good, but it doesn't matter because this is shut down and it's not actually going to do anything, so...
Alright, take 3.
Yeah, and it's just a really Archon-heavy army with some Stalkers in there as well, which... I don't know, I mean, that's going to be able to tank Colossus damage for quite a while, but... I don't know if there's enough Blink Stalkers. NightEnd's so good with the control. He pulls back at GG. That's it, ladies and gentlemen, and it's currently 1 apiece now in this best-of-3 series between these two, and... MaNa making some interesting decisions. I say interesting. I don't know if they were the right ones, and evidently since he lost, they most likely weren't.
Indeed, and unfortunately, I'm going to cut the suspense open because I need to go to the toilet, and I actually have to go. I can't wait any longer, so...
You will die. Okay, we're going to take a few minutes break, folks, and then when we come back, we'll be bringing you Game 3 of NightEnd versus MaNa.